said you had a 20-year-old. Wait, how
Mhm.
much did I got? I know you said you had a 20-year-old and you went through it with him and you got a 13-year-old. So I just figure I can get tips from you and I just wanted to see how you handle it because you don't look like
Yeah.
you don't look like what you said that you went through. And I'm like, it's with such grace. So I
Thank
just wanted to
you.
tap in and see what your secrets was just to get some tips possibly.
Honestly, my secret is I don't look at my adversity. Like, it wasn't until Coach Laquita asked me to come on her platforms that I realized, wait, it is adversity. Like, I do deal with a lot, and I don't look at it as troubles or problems or issues. It's just life. That's just the way my kids are set up. That's the way they're built. That's just the way they are. So I want them to be as best they can be and productive and accomplish as much as they can besides their limitations from their disabilities. I push them past that. Like, I don't, how can I put it? So, like, I know autistic people are not emotional people. They are emotional people, but they can't express their emotions facial. Like, they don't have the ability to do like we do. Like, when they cry, it's the same face. Like, when they're happy, it's the same face. It doesn't change. So me
Right.
knowing that about my kids, I just go around that. Like, I know I can't do their facial expressions because their facial expression is not going to tell me anything. So
That's
basically,
right.
I think I actually survive all of this by not looking through it, just because I don't look at it as an obstacle. I really don't. I feel like God blessed me with the kids that I have for a reason. He put them in my hand and my care, like he entrusted me with them, knowing they were going to have a difficult road. But apparently, I'm good with it. Like, I don't have no issues. Like, that's one of the things people automatically go, oh my God, my child has this. How am I supposed to function? How am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to get this done? It's how you look at it. If you look at it as a roadblock, if you look at it as something that's negative, then of course it's going to impact you negatively. Of course it's going to make, issues in any aspect of what you're trying to do in life. But if you look at it as a blessing, okay, my child is unique. They see the world differently. They have to deal with things differently. Let me accommodate myself so I can tweak my world to go towards theirs instead of making my child tweak to me, because that's where a lot of parents make the mistake at. It's always the do as I say, not as I do, but that doesn't get you anywhere. Everybody's different. That's why parents clash with their kids. That's why when you're adults, you have all this adversity, all this trauma, all these things you're dealing with because you were told to conform to somebody else, not the other way around. Like, I look at children as mini adults. I literally call them little people. They're just catching up to where we are. That's all they're doing. But they're smart, intelligent. It's how you talk to them. It's how you conversate with them. Like, my kids and I, we have adult conversations. Like, everything with their conditions, they're sitting right there with me. I listen, if I die tomorrow, I need you to be able to handle your own medicals. I need you to be able to advocate for yourself. So come on, boo, let's go. My daughter been doing this since she's 6, sitting in IEP meetings, sitting with me with the doctors. Like, she was included in every aspect. Every time my daughter ended up in a psych ward, we sat down and discussed it before she went there. It was a mutual understanding between her and I that this was the decision that she needed to do and needed to take. And as her parent, I'm backing her and supporting her. It's all how we parent. Like, that's really what it breaks down to. You wouldn't be your adversity if you realize there is no right or wrong way. You just have to go with what you have. And if your child has needs, you have to learn how to go around that. My kids got ADHD, they both do. Like, both of my oldest have ADHD as well. Man, that energy when it kicks in, and that non-focus,
Mhm.
or that ability to not complete a task because they done got sidetracked with something else or realized they didn't do what you told them to do 5 minutes ago and now they're gonna do it, but then forgetting to do something else. Man, all of that is crazy. Like, it can really literally make you
Crazy.
correct. But it's how you handle it. So you already know that's an obstacle. You already know these are issues that your child has. So how are you going to handle it? How are you going to remind them to complete that task? How are you going to remind them to get on to the next task? What are you going to do in your daily routine to teach them how to be more productive and how to be able to get past their own obstacles. But that's also, as a parent, it's your job to teach your child about themselves as well. So like I was saying in the live, that PhD is extremely important in those diagnoses, because then you become not only your advocate for you as a parent with a child that has needs, but you're becoming an advocate for your child, but you're also teaching your child how to advocate for themselves. Because this way now they can open, like my kids, if I forgot to give them their meds, they were quick. Mommy didn't get my meds this morning, so don't mind me if I'm not going to be here today, or if I'm not together, if this happens. Like, I've taught them, listen, I'm human, I do forget things, but you do know that the medicine does control to a certain extent. Then it got to the point they started using it as an excuse. So I had to be like, oh no, boo, hold on. Let me tell you something. You may be on meds, but the meds don't do the 100% job, okay? It don't. That comes from what you do and what you tell yourself you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do. So you got to get yourself together and learn how to function with it, because you're not always gonna have meds. Sometimes something's gonna happen. You may not have it. You got to learn how to still cope and deal with it as is. So I just, I mean, the adversity, I don't look at it as a negative thing. It's just how you perceive things. If you look at it as a bad roadblock, then every obstacle you're going to go through is going to be a bad one. You just got to learn to tweak it. Each person is different, but I'm glad you're here though. And I'm glad I was able to, touch you, because raising kids with disabilities ain't no joke.
Nope.
They're no joke. Like, I literally saw a post. I'm still waiting for one person. I'm gonna give her like one more.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
I saw a post of a friend of mine who has also 3 autistic girls. So she has 3 of them. And one of them is actually like severely autistic, to a certain extent. Like, she can't do the noises. She has to wear the headphones. Like, it's a lot of sensory issues with her. She'll stim like crazy. And she put a post up and she was like, for you parents, you mothers out there that are complaining about your children, next time stop and think about the parents who have kids with disabilities, who have to actually worry about the environment, pre-pack things, plan things. Nothing can go wrong, or it can throw everything for that child off. Think about all of that before you complain about your normal children that are doing normal things that they're supposed to be doing, but you're calling life to be so difficult. When I saw that post, I was like, girl, let them know how it goes, because I don't think they'd be able to walk a day in our shoes, not one day in our shoes. Like, that is just, I thought about that. That's why when I did the thing with Coach Laquita on the platform, I'm like, I'm gonna start talking about this more, because I do it on my platforms. I do. On my parenting and mental illness, my whole YouTube channel, my whole life is on there. My kids are on there. Like, we all our trials and tribulations that we go through, we record it and we do put it up there, because I never know who it's going to help. I don't know who has a child that may have something that my kids have, or like in my situation where I got the mental illness as well. So I got to take care of my health, but while I'm taking care of mine, I got to take care of theirs, because I got to make sure they're good too. So I can't rock nobody's boat, and it makes it hard for you to balance. Yay, the other person's here. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So now that everybody's actually here, I was waiting patiently, but it was a nice chat. But anyways,
yes, thank you.
You're welcome. No worries. Now that everyone's here, I'm going to start. I do have a presentation, but I don't think I'm going to use it. Honestly speaking, I just put it up for my contact information in case if anybody wants to book a discovery call. And for my social networks, all my platforms are on there. My blog, my podcast, my course, my Instagrams, my Facebook groups, they're all on there. I do have a Facebook group for parenting with mental illness. Monica, you may want to look in the social network to get into it. I do put in inspiring stuff into that group as well. It's meant for anybody who supports people with mental illness, or is a parent that has children with mental illness, or is for a parent that has mental illness and needs support. So you may want to look into that as well, because I'm trying to really grow a platform where if you're frustrated and stressed out and you just need to vent, that you can actually go there and let it out however it comes out, not worrying about what anybody's going to read into that post, or people calling CPS or DCF on you or nothing like that. No, be able to actually say, I want to wring my child's neck, and nobody's going to go, oh my God, she just said she wants to wring her child's neck. I want a platform where if you feeling like you want to knock somebody out, come vent it out, come chat it out. Let's talk it out. Let's put it in a group. Let's get our spirits back up so that this way we don't have to feel like we're alone. But to give a little backstory on my end, Linette, for those of you who don't know, and I am a life coach for parents. And hey, Coach Laquita, I see you from Dallas. And I got into this because I started my platforms. So I am extremely suicidal. I struggle with it every single day. Like even sitting here right now, talking to you guys and doing this workshop, in the back of my mind, it's literally like, if you don't get it together or find some more clients or figure out where the next income's going to come from, what are you going to do? Like, and it starts to pressure and starts, well, exit. The first solution always for suicidal people is exit. Why? I do not know, but it is always exit. And it's always with me. It will always be with me. It's something that I've realized it's not going to go anywhere. It's how I perceive it and how I choose to cope with it. So 2 years ago, I was in a very bad place. I had actually sat down my now 20-year-old and she was 17 and I gave her a game plan. I was like, boo, you turn 18 in July. I said, you can take custody of your brother and your sister. I was like, I don't think I could do this road anymore. I was like, I'm tired, I'm worn out, I'm exhausted, I'm drained. I was like, I don't think I have anything else to give. And at this point, I was going through transfusions, blood transfusions. I was starting to have issues with walking a little bit. Like I just started having more complications. I was looking pale. Like I really thought I was about to exit out, whether it be because I took myself out or whether it be because God said he was calling me home. But it was one of those things where I wasn't sure my kids were scared. I was scared, but I was just like, I can't keep doing this because all my kids have, like, I'm literally all my kids have. There's no other support system. There is other support system. I do have the godmommy and then my cousin and my sister, but I look at them like they're my kids. So they're my burden. They're not nobody else's burdens. And like, I'm trying to do my best that I can so they don't have to ever be anybody else's burden. So I made a promise to my daughter that day when we sat down and had a really deep conversation. And I told her I was gonna try to do everything that I could to stay on this earth. I created Parenting with Mental Illness on YouTube, the blog, and the podcast. And I just started telling my story. I just started being my own support system. I decided I can't find it out there, so I'm just gonna become it. And I'm gonna hold myself accountable. And anybody else that's watching can hold me accountable to everything that I'm saying, because I need somebody to hold me accountable so that I can stay here. But from that journey and growing and changing and evolving and developing and then ending up in a wheelchair out of nowhere, it all like smacked me in the face at the same time. And it was like, listen, either get it together or get it together, because like you're not gonna make it. And I became a life coach. That's when I decided, you know what? Let me venture this journey. Let me see. Let me see what I can do. I have a lot of experiences. I have a lot of trials and tribulations. I have a lot of drama in my life. I was like, maybe somebody can use that type of support. So I took this journey. When I first entered it, I was just going to do life coach alone. I wasn't going to do anything else but just work with whoever needed it. I still want to work with whoever needed it. Don't get it wrong. I still do. My specialties with parents, just because a lot of my experience, whether it was work-wise or personal, has a lot to do with parenting. But that's when I then decided, let me just do parents, because if my platform is parenting and mental illness, I can help parents that do or don't have mental illness. I can help kids that do or don't have mental illness. And my goal is to not just work with the parents, but to work with the whole family dynamic, because mom or dad can get the assistance that they need and the support that they need. But if you're constantly still redirecting the same behaviors or finding yourself still yelling about the same things, then something within that family dynamic is not balanced out correctly. And you're just going to get frustrated, burnt out, stressed out, and irritated, because you're like, Johnny, I just corrected this last week. Like, I had you on timeout. I did this, and now we right back at it again. Yeah, we don't need that whole never-ending cycle. I wish I had a life coach for parents when I was, younger, because when I was going through drama with my oldest, she was getting the cops called on her when she was 6 in school. Come get her. she has a mental illness. What would you like us to do? She has ADHD. Like, the cops were like, we can't arrest her for having a condition. Like, it's your job to be equipped to handle her. So that's just a little backstory on where I started and how I became a life coach. And I love it. Like, genuinely, honestly speaking, I'm not a people person. Generally, I'm more of, I socialize with those that I can connect with. But when I'm doing this, I'm also, because I'm an empath, and when I'm doing this, it allows me to feel genuinely what other people are in need of and actually provide them with that need. It gives me an ability to sense, where the dread is coming from, where the pressure is coming from, where the stress is coming from, and to change their lives is an amazing feeling. Like, I have 2 clients that I work with now, and honestly, I just spoke to one of them not too long ago before I came on here, and she was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've helped me. I was trying to leave that job for so long. I couldn't do it, get my family life together. I couldn't do it. Now everything is balanced out. She's got an amazing job with an amazing boss. Her daughter is thriving and doing great. Her husband is happy. She's got good hours. Like, she gets to actually go home, have family time, spend time with her kids. And I get to enjoy the fact that I helped her accomplish those goals. And that's what brings me satisfaction. So being as a life coach for parents, there's a lot. I'm not limited to anything that I can do for you. I'm not limited to anything that I can do with you. Like, wherever you need your hand held, that's what I'm there for. Whether it be accountability, whether it be time, whether it be behavior management, whether it be building self-esteem, self-worth, because as parents, we give so much to our kids, we tend to forget, what I'm saying, about ourselves. Like, we tend to completely forget that we matter just as much as our kids do. And maybe sometimes, if you think about it, a little bit more, because if you're not doing good and you're not in a good place, how are your kids going to do good? How are they going to be in a good place? And then not just that, they're going to be coming up with all this adversity because of traumas that were not intentional, but may have happened accidentally because the parent wasn't doing what the parent was supposed to be doing. So you have to take care of yourself. I'm a big advocate for that as well. I did not do me the way that I should have. I didn't take care of myself how I should have. And that's one of the reasons why I'm in a wheelchair today. Like, they said, my mental illness plays a big part in me being here. That's why now I advocate so much. Like, moms and dads, y'all got to take care of yourselves. Y'all got to be on top of y'all A game. If you have a stressful life, whether it be because your children have stuff going on, you got to take time out for yourself. You got to make sure that you're re-energizing yourself back up. Not pour yourself. My analogy is in my head, but my mouth is saying something completely different than what my brain is thinking about right now. I was gonna say it's like the gas tank. You cannot be empty, okay? Because if you're empty, your car is not gonna run. But you're never gonna go nowhere. You're just gonna stay there putting. But the moment that you put some gas into that car, baby, that's that moment that you're gonna be able to keep driving and doing everything, taking care of this child, taking care of that partner, doing this job over here, doing that job over there. You got to take care of yourself so you can do right by your kids. Think about this. What are all the trials and tribulations that you go through now as an adult, whether you have mental illness or not, whether you have anxiety, whether you just have certain ways that you deal with certain things, or you don't like certain people, or you can't handle certain situations. All of that came from your upbringing. All of that came from what your parents done taught you, what you done seen from your parents, whatever, how they interacted with you. Now, if you're a person who has trauma and has a couple of difficulties, you don't want your kids to grow up like that. You don't want your kids to be in your shoes. You want your kids to have better shoes than the ones that you have, because you're carrying the ones from your parents into your adulthood. You're carrying what your parents' did and what your parents' did to your parents, and so forth and so forth. And your kids, you want to make sure it's a complete opposite. You want it to stop right then and there, and you want it to start fresh. You want to give that child that ability to have a fresh start with no generational curses attached to them. In order to do that, you got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure you're in a good space. And you also have to be able to admit it when you see that you're not in a good space. And that is okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. doesn't make you a bad parent. It doesn't mean you're not equipped to handle this. It just means you're human. That's all it means. It just means you are human, completely human. And that's fine. It's fine to be human. There's nothing wrong with being human. I don't know what that alert on my computer just was, but it's fine with being human. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to learn to cope with everything. And see, that's where my mentality has helped me out. And I try to pass on what I've used in my own personal life with my own personal experiences onto as many people as I can, even before I became a life coach. When I was working with as a paraprofessional, I used to always tell my parents, like, be mindful, because a person has mental illness, and I had growing up with so much adversity. I know I have a lot of issues as an adult now. So I used to always tell my parents and even teach these things to my students. Same thing with my preschoolers and my toddlers. I did that for like about 20 years. And I lost my train of thought. My kids started moving and sidetracked me. Ooh, but tell my parents, what was I saying? Don't mind me, y'all. I'm gonna get it back. It's coming. Nope, it's not. It left. Sorry. I lost that train of thought. We're gonna have to move on to the next one. But I'm not limited to how I can help. So the whole question would be, since this is a group setting, I really don't have the ability to work with you like on a one-on-one setting, but is there anything that anybody here is going through that they may want a little bit of tips or suggestions with that I can provide? That's not a problem. Like, I wanted to be able to interact with you guys as well, not just have me talking. That's why I didn't want to use a presentation, because I kind of want to be more of a hands-on ordeal than me just talking. So if there's anything, like, feel free. I can give you tips. I can talk you through whatever you need. I got you.
Actually, I really appreciated like the format of this right now with like you giving tips, because everything you said just makes a lot of sense. Like, if you have a special needs child, that child's not going to change, and it's okay to be human. And you just, so no, I actually appreciate it. I appreciate the way this was going and with you talking, because sometimes you just need a reminder, like, you're not going to always be superwoman.
Yes.
And it's okay for things to happen. You got to realize, I got to take a break. This is how my child is. So you said you have to learn how to cope.
Correct.
So honestly, I appreciate everything you said. And even though you would think like, I should have known that, just hearing you say it, and I respect it because you lived it. And like, your first child and then your second child, so you kind of got practice, so you knew how to perfect it. So I actually appreciate this, and it's just a reminder, just breathe. I think you said that last night. Breathe.
I did. You have to breathe. Please remember to breathe, because when you have a child with disabilities, you're waiting for the next shoe to drop. You're waiting for the next time something's going to happen. You're waiting for that next phone call, that text message, whatever it is. You're holding your breath the whole time and not realizing you're not breathing.
Right.
That's why when the next step falls, you take it so hard, because you were already holding your breath. Your body wasn't ready for it. Your mind wasn't ready for it. Nothing was ready for it. And then when that hit comes, it knocks you down when it shouldn't have. You should have been able to stand up and take it, but it knocks you down because you weren't breathing. You weren't ready. And it is tips that we should know and we should think about. But sometimes when you are in a situation, you can't see it with fresh eyes because you're in that situation. And to you, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. Like, where am I going to find that light? But when somebody else comes in and you're sitting down and that person has already a background on it or has knowledge on it, it makes it easier to be like, man, I should have thought about that. Why didn't I think about doing that? Like, it's just common sense, but it's because you're living it. You're living it at the moment. So you're not thinking about none of that, but you're doing good though. Like, look, you're reaching out, you're trying to get more information. How old is your child?
He's 16. He has it's a rare order. It's called chromosome deletion number 16.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is with him, you wouldn't even be able to tell because well, just a little background. My son was adopted, so I don't know the father side.
Okay.
So they were saying like autism, but every time I would take him to get checked, took him 3 times. They said, don't bring him no more. It's not autistic, but a chromosome deletion, it mirrors that. So then they
Okay.
were saying ADHD, and I'm like, he's just so intelligent. He's just so this, he's so that. So he was already just so amazing. But it's like, once he became a teenager, that's when things like just started to, but I guess he was
Show up.
developing hormones himself. And he wasn't that little kid, and my expectations got higher because he was getting bigger. Because
Yeah.
when you have younger kids, they're able to get away with more because they're little, and he was already small. But the moment that voice got deep, the Adam's apple, just because I think people was going to perceive him, that made me harder on him. So that's why I you said a mouthful. You said a lot to just make me sit back and realize this is fine.
See, yeah, it is. You're trying to do the right thing by your child. Okay, there are parenting books out there, but just like there's psychology books and there's education books and there's biology books, somebody else wrote it in their perspective and their thought and their opinions and their ideas. So it's not a legit Bible like the Bible itself. And even then, even though God gave the word, the Bible is still being written by another man that God gave the word to. So it's kind of like you still got to decipher between all when you're reading and how to get it. Same thing with life, same thing with parenting. There's no manual. Anybody that wants to drive has to get a learner's permit or a license, but anybody can go have a kid. Like anybody and their mama can go have a kid who may not even need to be having no children. You know what I'm saying? But you're doing what you can, and that's the best. You understand your child, and that's what really matters. As long as you know your child in and out and how their conditions are showing up, and you do have to remember the older they get, it's going to show up differently. It's going to affect differently. It's not going to look the same. So you may have to retweak your plan on how you handle things because it may not, the same thing that worked 5 years ago may not work right now. You know, or the same game plan that you had 5 years ago for that person may not be able to be the game plan that you're going to have now because things could have changed in a different aspect. So you got to be mindful that because of these conditions, it may not turn out how you want it to turn out. You have to be able to play within the field the correct way so that your kids can grow up having the knowledge that they need and the ability to be a productive member of society without having anyone else beat them down, in other words, because that's my biggest fear on my 2 oldest. Every time we go somewhere, they're autistic. I make sure I let it know real quickly because one, their facial expressions, you think that they're bitchy, but they're not bitchy. It's just the way that they are. I don't want people to take anything the wrong way because I'm a mama bear. I will go fight whoever and anybody for my kids. Like I am playing no games with my baby, man. I will definitely, it don't matter what is going on. I'm there ready to fight. It is what it is. But you're doing what you're supposed to do, and that's all you can do. In the same time, you got to take care of yourself too. Just make sure, don't be so hard on yourself. That's another tip that I'm starting to remember to give people. Don't be so hard on yourself. Okay, you're not God himself, so you can't obviously foresee how things are going to work, but you're doing the best with what you have. You're doing the best with what you can, and that is all that your child really ever needs, is just you constantly fighting and giving them the best that you can. That's it. Does not matter if it came out perfect or wrong. Like I was saying on my live, I'm in an extended stay. While I'm doing this, my 2 kids are trying to go to sleep and my other one is waiting for me to finish. I have to go with life. I got to do what I got to do. I got messages I got to get out there. I got other people that need me. I resonated with you. I got other people that need to hear these messages. I got to get myself out there. I got to get to these people because it could be dire emergency. We don't know who else is in the verge of leaving and exiting in the wrong manner. I got to get out there. So like I tell my kids all the time, y'all want to get out of here, right? Mommy got to do what I got to do. And if I got to do what I got to do, that means you got to do your part. And this is your part. And that's when I say talk to your kids as adults. Stop talking to your kids like kids. Because a lot of people diminish their kids' capabilities of understanding and comprehending things. I've always talked to my kids like they were grown all the time. So if anything happens now, they understand it. They know everything we've been through. They understand what's happening. They understand what can happen. They understand where we can end up at. They understand everything completely. And it's not a shocker to them. It's not putting them in a place where they're down and they can't get back up. It's not putting them in a dark spot because I have both of my oldest are suicidal as well. So it's not putting them in a dark spot, but I'm letting them know we're in this together. It's me and you. Like, we're in this together. It's the four of us against the world, and it is what it is. So make sure you talk to your kids. A lot of parents think that they're getting away with hiding things behind closed doors if you're going through something. Your kids can sense that shift in your energy, in your spirit. They can feel when something's not right. Then parents are wondering, why is Tommy acting up? Why do you think? I mean, I'm just saying, why do you think you're going through all of this, but yet you're putting this mask on and making it seem like the world is great in front of them, but they can sense all that energy, all of that. They feel it. Kids are not dumb. They're far from dumb. They are very, very smart. They are very, very bright. And people do not give them enough credit. They need to get more credit. So how you deal with your children is how they're going to end up being as adults as well. And then remember too, how you deal with your children is how they're going to deal with their children. So if you want to install positive routines, positive behaviors, positive outcomes, positive thinking, okay, let me throw that out there, because this is in my spirit right now, and I gotta say this. Positive thinking. Now, right now, we moved from Connecticut to Virginia. We've been in Virginia for 4 years. I've been my whole life between Connecticut and Puerto Rico. Never lived anywhere else, just those two places. I know people used to always say that the South is still enslaved mentally. I always used to hear that up north all the time. I used to always hear that. Never played it no mind, never, thought anything about it. Man, then I moved down here and realized the South really is enslaved still mentally. Like, so many people down here are still stuck in, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't accomplish this, I can't get that goal, I can't work hard for this, I've tried, and I'm failing. Slavery is over, boo. You have the freedom to do whatever you want. You can succeed however you want to succeed. Like, you have to teach your children. Yes, there's going to be racism. Yes, there's going to be this. Yes, there's going to be that. But you can still accomplish whatever you want in life. Don't let that stop you. Do not let that stop you from getting any goals. And I have to say that because being in the South now, I've realized there is a big difference from the North, like for real. The way that we think versus the way that people think down here is like, I look at them sometimes and I'm like, you do know slavery's been over, right? Slavery's been over for a couple of years now. You may want to get on out that mentality and start coming into the real world and the now and realize that sky is the limit. Like, you, and not even the whole universe. Like, you got a whole universe out there. Like, you're not limited to anything because of whatever you got going on. That's another one, because I've seen some parents that, well, I got kids now, my life is all messed up. I can't accomplish this, I can't accomplish that goal, I can't do this, I can't do that. I look at it like, wouldn't that be a bigger reason to motivate you to fight even more? Like, I'm just saying that should be a bigger reason to motivate you to fight even more, because you want your kids to have a better future than you did. You don't want your kids to have to struggle. You don't want your kids to have to struggle at all. I am not kissing you right now. Go back in that bed, please. No, I don't want to kiss right now. Go back in the bed, please. I don't want to hug either right now. I love you, but I don't love you right now because you're not following the rules, my love. You're interrupting the live.
Well, can you say hi?
No, you cannot say hi because this is not the lyrical show. This is the mommy show, and mommy taking her show back. So go lay down, please.
Well, I can't see.
Well, I just asked you to lay down. I didn't ask you to go to sleep. I just asked you to lay down. I appreciate you. I love you too. It's okay. Sorry, you guys. She just wants some attention. I don't know why, because she said she did so good the last 2 nights. That's probably why I done kept her quiet last 2 nights for me to do this. But and even things like that, like my old me, I would have snapped. I'd have snapped at her. I'd have been like, "What are you doing? I'm something." Now the me now. It is what it is. I'm a parent. I got to be a parent first. I got to do what I got to do. And if I got to work and figure out how I'm going to work my kids around it, then I'm going to do what I got to do. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to let my adversity dictate how I show up in my present or my future. I refuse. And that is what I try to teach anyone that I work with. It doesn't matter who it is or anyone that I talk to or anyone that I deal with. I'm in a wheelchair. I can't go work nobody 9 to 5 because I can't leave my two, like I homeschool both of them actually, because my daughter's actually still in school. And I can't be in nobody 9 to 5. How am I gonna get there? My bipolar gonna make me want to bring somebody neck, and being in a wheelchair, I can't do that. So like I gotta keep my behind still. So I gotta find other ways to make it work. Like you never let your story dictate your present or your future. Never. Like never let that happen. It does not matter if you lost your job. It does not matter if you lost your car. It doesn't matter if you lost your place to live. Get up, get up, get up, dust it off, and let's go. Let's go. It's time to work harder then. That means you was playing around. You got too comfortable. That means you got way too comfortable and things happen. You got to get it together. But as a parent, life can come at you, and needing support is definitely something that we all need. And support that actually understands is what is really key and important. Like it's not just calling your friends and venting, but you're not getting any actual resolutions. The problem is still there. You don't have a solution to it. So you vented, got it off your chest, but what got resolved? Like you need to actually find support that's going to help you, that's going to guide you out of your situation, that's going to guide you into avoiding future situations, that are going to be able to be there to actually say, hey, are you sure that's what you want to do? Are you sure that's what you want to do? Or, you know what I'm saying? Just, hey, I think this will probably help you out. Or even like my clients do use this all the time. Because when I work with somebody, doesn't matter how long I work with them, I'm yours. I'm completely yours. Like I'm at your beck and call. It's like I'm your maid. It's like Slave literally came back real quick. It's like you need me, you call me, I answer, I'm there. It doesn't matter if we didn't have a session scheduled. As long as I'm not in a session with somebody else, I'm on that call with you, walking you off that ledge and getting you right and balanced again and putting you back where you need to be. I mean, I've had my clients call me randomly 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I got you. Hold on. Let me just think the book is off my eyes real quick, and then I'll be able to help you. Like, I got you. Or they'll text me, really? Can you please turn the light back on? Can you please turn the light back on? Thank you. You're showing your tail and I'm not appreciating it. So I'm going to say this, and everybody's hearing me, just so you can understand, this is how I have no fear in my heart. If you don't want the mean mommy to come out and you want to deal with just the nice mommy, then please do like I asked you to do, and that was lay down. I didn't tell you you had to go to sleep. I just asked you to lay down. But sorry, you guys. She got me all sidetracked. See, this is the hard part. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is the hard part of showing up and doing workshops and doing lives. I have ADHD. I get sidetracked easily. I mean, a feather could fall to the right and I look real quick, my train of thought is completely gone. But I know that about me, so that's why I'm very transparent about it. I tell people all the time, listen, I don't mean to forget. It's not on purpose. I swear to you, it's not. Literally, my ADHD just put me somewhere else, and then another topic will come into my mind to talk about because it thought I already finished. I didn't finish. So I apologize for that. But yeah, support. Everyone needs support. Support is something that is extremely important. My clients use it like whenever they need to talk to somebody. They can call their friends. Don't get me wrong. Your friend is free. You can talk to your friend. But is your friend going to give you the same that I'm giving you when we're dealing with each other? And my clients apparently know that that's not the case, because I tell you, I get calls at random hours and be like, and they're both doing amazing. So it's not even like dying emergency things where I look at the phone and I'd be like, this was not really a dying emergency, but it's cool. It got you mentally all over the place. I'm gonna mentally bring you back, and then we're gonna be good, and we're gonna be good to go. But that's what I do. I'm just your sound mind, body, and board. Like I'm your guide to your roadmap. You tell me you want to accomplish this and don't know how to accomplish it, I'm gonna work out with you together to figure out which way you're gonna go and hold you accountable to it. You got problems with accomplishing goals because, for example, New Year's resolution. New Year's is coming up. It's a perfect example. Everybody always be like, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. I'm gonna go on a diet. I'm gonna hit the gym more. I'm gonna exercise more. Come New Year's, they're in that gym. Come the second week of New Year's, they're gone. They ain't been back. They paid for a whole membership for no reason. Ain't stepped foot back into that gym for nothing. So I would be the person to sit there and be like, hey, did you make it to the gym? What's holding you back? We haven't seen the gym yet. Like, I need you to go to the gym. Prime example. Also, my client, she did the weight loss surgery, but she doesn't have any eating restrictions. For some reason, her stomach allows her to still eat anything at whatever portion. Now, I did the weight loss as well. I did the gastric sleeve, but my stomach is like 4 ounces, between 4 and 5 ounces. So I am very limited on what I can consume and how I can consume it. But she can eat all day, every day. So I have to constantly be mindful. Did you pack your lunch? Did you do your meal prep? Did you go to the gym? Did you work out at home if you didn't go to the gym? And these will be random messages I'm sending throughout the day just to check up, to kind of do the reminder of, hey, I'm here. I'm holding you accountable of what you told me you want to do. And I'm going to keep pushing you until you get those goals because this is what you want to work for. That's what I am here to do. And that's what a life coach for parents actually does. Besides, parenting tips, if you got to work with the kids, work with the parents, work with it all together. But I like to work with the parents first, because you guys are the sound mind, body of the family. You're the head, you're in charge. You have to take care of everything. Once I then work with the parents, if there's any other issues going with the kids, then we can throw that in there as well and work with the kids as well to get it all across the board. Another tip that I do want to say, and I said it on my live as well, is pay attention to the behaviors. Most parents don't realize when their kids' behaviors have changed. They don't even pay attention to the fact that they're redirecting the same behavior over and over again. Some parents are just frustrated with having to discipline, period. So then they don't pay any attention to how many times they disciplined a particular scenario or how many times they had to redirect this. Pay attention to it, because even though kids know they can talk to their moms and dads and they know they can, rely on them and their support system for them, they don't always vocalize. They don't always speak what's going on or what's on their mind. And especially if they feel that you're going through something, if they feel that you're dealing with something, they're going to hold it in and keep it to themselves because they don't want to add on. So pay attention to the behaviors. If you're redirecting the same behaviors, something is wrong. It's a warning sign. They're trying to talk out to you and tell you what's wrong without actually verbally telling you what's wrong. So now if you find yourself redirecting something for it's been a third time, you already done talked to Tommy 3 times, it had been 3 times in 1 month and you're still redirecting the same behavior, sit down and find out what's bothering Tommy. Sit down and find out. Think back to when it started. What was going on around that time frame? Really get to the bottom of the behavior, because the moment you get to the bottom of the behavior, that behavior is no longer going to be a problem in the future. No longer. You're nipping it at the bud. You're literally getting it out of the roots. It's like a toxic. You don't want it there. Remember what I was going to say earlier. See, I love my ADHD brain. But I was going to say positivity is a big thing. We got to teach our kids to be positive. You got to teach your kids to think about positive, the law of attraction. What you throw out in the universe is what you will receive. If you throw out negativity, all you're going to get your whole life is going to be negativity. If you throw out positivity, all you're going to get is positivity and blessings. And that's what you got to teach your children. Matter of fact, I had to teach myself that. My mother was the complete opposite, a very negative person. And my whole life, I've always looked at things negative, always expected a negative foot to fall, always expected something bad to happen to me. And guess what? It kept happening. It kept happening over and over and over and over. And this is no lie, this is the honest truth. Before I moved down here to Virginia, I had originally planned to move to Daytona, Florida. This was about like 2013, 14. I only had 2 kids at that time. My youngest was 3 and my oldest was 7, I believe. And we went to Daytona, Florida to go on vacation, to finally take our first and only actual family vacation together, just to get away from Connecticut and all the toxic and just breathe. My kids were like night and day. When I tell you I didn't have no fighting between them because of their autism, they don't get along that well. but I didn't have no fight in between them. They were like free as a bird. I said, you know what? Maybe a whole move away from the toxic, maybe we start fresh somewhere. So I had decided I was going to quote unquote move to Florida. But then I made it back to Connecticut and got cold feet and started thinking about what if my kids go to the South and the school system sucks and then they're behind. What if I have an emergency? I have nobody to take care of my kids if I'm in the hospital. Or I threw so much negative out there that when we came down here to Virginia, we were supposed to stay with an associate. She actually kicked us out 4 months after being there because her fiance didn't want us there anymore. So we ended up in an extended stay back then. Everything that I was afraid of happening is literally everything. The only difference was I wasn't afraid of a wheelchair because I never really thought that was a possibility, but it is what it is. But it is my health deteriorating, and it is, if anything does happen to me, like who's going to be with my kids. And I did almost die. So that kind of, okay, it did kind of come true because I did almost die. Ambulance had to get called and my kids were home alone by themselves. Like, yeah, everything came true. So that's why it's extremely important. Stay in a positive time frame. Affirmations with your kids. It may sound stupid and silly, but build them up, build that confidence for that positivity up. Let them know they can do whatever, like they're struggling. Throw them affirmations at them, make them practice them with you, stand in the mirror with them for 5 minutes. It seems dumb and silly, but it does work. It does help, and it does build positive thinking. And as a parent, that is something that I would think you want for your child, like no negativity. If the universe throws it, it threw it on its own, not because you put it out there for it to come back to you. But yeah, that's like pretty much all I have for you guys tonight. Is there any questions or comments, or you want to talk about something? I'm cool. I got y'all.
No questions. And excuse the noise. This furnace is so loud. I'm like near it.
Okay.
I just want to tell you, thank you so much. And I don't want you to take lightly what you do, because I look at myself as being pretty well put together. And like, I have a strong relationship with God and kind of know which direction I'm going, but you really shed a lot, even though you would think I would know that. So don't take lightly what you're doing, because like you said, when you're in the middle of living it, you're not really thinking like, okay, let me breathe, let me stop.
Correct.
So I pray that God keep giving you the strength, because I thank you for what you gave me, because it's been really powerful, and just to make me just think and do everything else. And like, you just don't think and breathe. So I'm just thankful that I was able to meet you last night. And I'm thankful for what I heard today.
You're
and
welcome.
I just want to say thank you. And you just keep up the good job, because if you help me, I'm not suicidal and I don't have mental health, but just say if I was, you would be enough to like change my life around.
Oh, wow.
And just the tips you gave me for my son, I can just look at things differently and just reevaluate. So I just want to tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart. And
you're welcome. It's
you
my pleasure.
Wonderful.
If you ever want to book a discovery call, you do get a free discovery call. You can always book to sit down and talk a little bit more, because I know the road's hard.
We'll push mute just so you don't have to hear this sound.
Okay. I know the road gets hard, but you can always book a call of anything. It is free. We can sit down and chit chat, and I can give you some more pointers. But honestly, I do love what I do. Like, I have a straight up passion for it, because I know I can help other people change their perspective of seeing life just with my own story. Like, I know my own story makes a big difference. Like, I'm going through all of this, but I'm not carrying it on my shoulders. It doesn't dictate how I show up every day. It doesn't dictate how I'm productive or not productive. I don't let it play no major part in my life, and I don't give it no power, in other words. So I basically give it no power. It does not dictate, not a darn thing. And that's how anything should be dealt with in life, including disabilities. Don't give it the power. Yes, you have it. Yes, it shows up in you. Okay, cool. How does it show up in you? What are your triggers? What are your signs? What are your warning signs? What is this? What is that? Figure all that out, and then you can move easily. And then with your son, reevaluate always, because it will change when they get older. Sometimes the ADHD ends up leaving and other things will show up, like, you know what I'm saying, or sometimes it'll end up staying. Like with me, I have ADHD because it was never dealt with when I was younger, so it stayed. It's gotten a little bit better than what it was. My daughter still has her ADHD, not as bad as it was. Her other conditions are actually worse, so she's actually outgrowing a little bit her ADHD. So there's a possibility you can outgrow anything, but it's how you take care of yourself. It's how you treat yourself during that time in that process. But if there's no other questions or any other comments, I'll definitely let you guys go. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed this. Just sitting here, I learned a whole lot. So thank you so much for just being so transparent and, authentic, because you could have tried to sugarcoat things, but you did not. And I'm just so proud of you for just stepping out of your comfort zone and just speaking life. You out here changing lives, Coach Linette, in these streets. And I just really enjoyed this. This was really great. So I just wish you many blessings, and that's all.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I gotta give you credit though. If I didn't do the 2 lives with you these last 2 days, I wouldn't be as comfortable as I am right now. So I gotta be fully transparent. Like, you opened up my eyes with the adversity thing. I really never stopped and looked at it that way. Like, I never stopped and looked at, wait, I do deal with a lot between having to go to the hospital and do this with this behavior, not with that behavior, and this with this child. It is a lot of trauma, but I never paid attention to it. And then when I started talking about it on your platforms, I'm like, what am I waiting on? I gotta help these people. I gotta help these people. I gotta be out here. But
and one last tip too. Anybody with children know like how your child came and wanted to have a kiss and turn the lights out. That is so like normal of kids, and how you handle that is so amazing. Because you said you would have handled it another different way back when. But anybody with kids know that's how a kid gonna be, but a kid with special needs. So kudos to you for the way you handle that.
Thank you.
Because that's the way it's supposed to be, because they're them and you accept them for them.
Correct.
So, but that was really good.
If you think about it, there's no other way of being it. Because if you're trying to force a child that has a disability to be a normal child, it's not gonna work. It's gonna cause you so much headache, so much stress, so much frustration. It's gonna drive you completely insane, because no matter what you do, that child is not gonna conform to what you want them to. They're not. And honestly speaking, half of the time, I don't really think that they can, even if they wanted to. So you have to change your parenting style, your parenting thinking, your parenting ways. You have to change how you think a child is supposed to be. And then not just that, it's all about the upbringing as well. You can't be one of those do as I say, not as I do. That doesn't work nowadays. That does not work at all. Like, you got to be all hands-on and present. You got to be showing what you want them to do. But again, that's where that communication comes from. Sit down and have conversations. Actually have deep conversations with your kids. Talk about their future. Talk about what they want. Literally, doesn't matter how old they are, because you're building that positive within them. You're giving them a future. You're giving them hope. Don't just take it away from them because society is being retarded. Like, don't do that. Or because you're too overprotective, because I know I'm definitely way overprotective, but I still throw them out there in society. I be biting my nails, but I still put them out there in society. Like, I got tools that I gave them. I know they got to use it. But it was definitely a pleasure being here with you guys tonight. I don't take lightly that you guys came. I definitely appreciate it. It just makes my heart all warm and fuzzy. Like, it was so nice. And then I got to interact, which is awesome, because I like to talk, but I like to interact. I like being able to talk to, other people and hearing what they have going on as well, because then I know what I'm going to say is going to resonate or not. Like, I don't want to just give out information that's going to be like, I want to make sure it actually sits here, that you can actually use it and take it with you. But if anything, you guys can always hit me up. My contact is in there. And thank you so much, Coach Laquita. I appreciate you guys. And love y'all, and have a nice night.
Okay, have a blessed one. Bye.
Thank you.
Mom. Mama, how am I
can't-
opening the pencil?